This week's episode of Soul Eater Not is gearing up for the climax of the entire series. And you just knew this week's episode was going to be badass when it opened up with a battle between Maka and Blackstar. It's so distinctly Soul Eater, and it makes me want to see more from the future of this incredibly awesome and creative series. Another reason I really enjoyed this episode is because we're actually getting more progression. It seemed like after last week's episode, shit really did hit the fan, and we're finally getting to see the consequences of that. It looks like Shaola Gorgon is finally making her move and having her massive army of zombies try to take over the DWMA, but there is going to be opposition there, and it comes in the form of cameos from Blackstar, Maka, Oxford, and his weird buddy who looks like Shikamaru cosplaying as his favorite Star Trek character. But the main focus this week is on Tsugumi. In fact, she's going to have to finally choose who she's going to partner with, Anya or Mei. The problem is, she just ran into a little bit of a problem. You see, Anya is now being sent home because of all of this Shaola Gorgon business, and Shaola actually has possession of Mei and is keeping her as her weird little pet, who now has this weird little thing she's wearing, which is putting a lot of emphasis on her boobs. But whatever, no complaining from me, it's pretty awesome. What I will say is, I like that Tsugumi is instantly healed by Kim and Jacqueline, and they also give her a little bit of information about the Soul Resonance, and you know exactly where this is leading to, because as Shaola is having her zombie soldiers just attack everybody in the DWMA, for some reason, Akane and Clay are literally driving away and not deciding to help any of their comrades. And even Anya thinks this is pretty jacked up, and frankly, I do myself. She gives them a little bit of a Naruto speech before they get into a little bit of a tiff, but then finally, through the use of Liz and Patty and their weird little moped, Tsugumi is able to make it to Anya, and this is where they finally team up and use their soul resonance for the first time. And what's really funny about this is, basically, Anya just tells Tsugumi, hey, we need to get to the town really quick. We need you to learn how to fly, like, instantly. You need to do this now. And I just think it's kind of a cop-out in the sense that she's able to do this so quickly, but it's not like a big drastic transformation. Basically, she turns into her halberd form, and she has these, like, pink little, like, fairy wings on the end of it. And literally, Anya is able to ride this thing like a witch's broomstick, which is ironic, but still, it makes for a very funny scene when they're trying to fly for the first time. This is made even funnier by the fact that every single time they make an entrance through a window, they always just end up crashing right through. In fact, this leads to one of the bigger scenes this week where they run into Dr. Stein, who's created some sort of antidote for Shaola's weird poison, and he sort of eggs them on a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, Dr. Stein's always been like that in the Soul Eater anime series. Like, he always has a weird, sick sense of humor at, like, the worst possible time, but it still manages to be funny every single time. That dude always catches me by surprise, especially because he had all this extra antidote just lying around as soon as they decided to fly out the windows and put themselves in danger when they're getting ready to go up against Shaola Gorgon. And the episode actually ends with them confronting her, ending it right there, and I am really excited because everybody in Shibusen and DWMA is getting completely rocked by Shaola and her zombies, and I find it very surprising that she is deciding to attack in the middle of the day. It's just, it looks like it's going to, you know, turn dark a little bit more in the next part of the episode, and it looks like a lot more characters are going to get involved with the final battle, which I do imagine that next week's episode is the final episode. I've heard that it is only be a 12-episode series, and that it is actually going to have the same ending as the manga, which, oddly enough, has not actually finished yet. You're actually going to be able to see the ending first in the anime form. However, there are some small short stories from the manga version that actually have not made it into the anime, but honestly, it's the type of stuff that, you know, if you miss it, you're not really missing anything in terms of the actual story. But what's the rundown this week? I liked this week's episode for a lot of cool things. One, I like the fact that Tsugumi is finally teaming up with someone, even though she's being sort of forced to do so. This entire series has really been about her growing as a character and trying to decide who she's going to team up with. And the fact that she finally decided to work with Anya is just a nice sigh of relief because, frankly, I'm more of an Anya than a Mei guy. I just think, like, they would work a lot better. However, I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where the series ends and they're all going to be able to work together. Maybe they'll be, like, the first, like, you know, Meister that works that way. I don't know. It's kind of strange. But still, I really like where this is going. I like the fact that they're the ones who are going to be confronting Shaola and no one else. maybe it'll just be like Maka and her group are having to deal with more of the zombies and maybe even some more other little surprise characters. I'm hoping in next week's episode they'll give us a few more cameos, and I really hope they do a good job with the animation next week, because if it is the final episode, next one is the one to really include a lot of really, really cool action. In this week's episode, the animation and the artwork was pretty good for the most parts. There were times when it would look a little wonky, and then there were times when it looked really, really cool. The scenes where Tsugumi and Anya were flying around were both funny and just ridiculous at the same time. The fact that they're always crashing through windows. And I just cannot wait to see the battle with Mei Mei and Shaola. I think that's going to be really, really cool. So, I liked this episode. I didn't think it was perfect, but it's a nice little setup for the finale of the series, which I pray is leading to more Soul Eater in the future. I really want to see like a full adaptation of the manga version done with a lot of love and care. I think all Soul Eater fans want to see that. So, check out this week's episode. A little iffy in some parts, but for the most part, a really satisfying episode and one of the better episodes of the series. So I'm going to drop an 8 out of 10 on this one. Check it out, guys. Pretty cool stuff. The final confrontation with Shaola is right around the corner, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me with your comments below. Do you think that Tsugumi is going to somehow save Mei Mei and end up teaming up with her as well? Is she going to actually end up choosing someone individually? What do you guys think is going to happen in the future of the Soul Eater Not anime series? You can tell me with your comments below. Remember guys, before you leave, hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's really, really easy to do, and it helps out our videos tremendously. The best way to help out our videos is to simply watch them and to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. You can also check us out on social media websites like Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. So guys, I will see you next time. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.